connect people with nature.
An experience you can't get from opening up a book.
It inspires people.
A life-changing impact on a young person's life.
They want to learn more about these animals.
A redesign of its signature attraction.
We rescued over 430 animals.
SeaWorld is committed to responding to those animals anytime, any place.
The work we're doing here at SeaWorld is essential to understanding and protecting killer whales in the wild.
SeaWorld teams continue to be busy rescuing stranded sea
Injured
lions.
manatee was pulled out of the Indian River this afternoon by SeaWorld.
SeaWorld working with the SPCA of Central Florida and Orange County.
A team from SeaWorld removed 100 pounds of fishing net from the 20-ton.
SeaWorld veterinarians removed the hook. The 100-pound turtle was released yesterday.
The rescue team here at SeaWorld is so busy, they've actually had to rearrange people's schedules.
On average, we rescue about 100 to 150 animals a year. But there was some sort of event, something that was going on in the ecosystem with California sea lions, and they were starving to death.
You okay there, little one? You know, he looks like he might have been bitten by a shark.
Thank you guys.
Oh my God, I love you guys.
That commitment of time, effort, and energy was huge. From sunrise to sunset, 24 hours a day, we were here taking care of those animals. So I know what we were here doing and what's making a difference for these animals every single day.
I've been out in the waters around Iceland, the South Pacific, saving every kind of species, and I've been blessed to be a part of that. But that would have been outside my reach if I hadn't first come to a park like SeaWorld.
The mammal department that does the rescue program had rescued a California gray whale calf. What was amazing about the gray whale is they're one of the first species ever taken off the endangered species list, but not a lot is known about gray whales. So it's not just about rescuing them, rehabilitating them, and returning them to the wild. It's also about learning from this animal and what can we do to make a difference in that population and help its ecosystem and sustain that animal.
Zoos and aquariums face a tremendous challenge today because around the world we're seeing, to a very alarming degree, a decline of habitats, both aquatic and terrestrial. And part of the reason for that, of course, is we have 7 billion consumers on the planet, and soon we'll have almost 9 billion consumers. And that has a tremendous cost on our natural world.
There are ecosystems out there that are dying every single day, animals that are becoming extinct.
What we're seeing happening in our coastal regions is a declining environment.
Conservation is not sitting back and criticizing. The activists sit back, they raise a lot of money, they spread misinformation, and they criticize. That's not really doing the work that is required to save these animals and these environments that are in peril.
Had people tell me that their children were so affected by what they saw that they wanted to learn more about whales. Where do they come from? And when they find out they're from all oceans of the world, then they care about all of the oceans of the world.
Every day I come to work, I see kids that are amazed at looking at these killer whales, dolphins, turtles. They want to learn more about these animals. I met a little girl, and she was so inspired by the animals that she saw here. She asked me, what can she do to help out there? And I just told her she can do something as simple as do a beach cleanup. That little girl went out and cleaned up a beach because she came to SeaWorld and was inspired by what she saw.
It's about the future of our planet. And through Zoos and Aquarium, we connect people with nature and hopefully help teach them to change their behavior, to tread more lightly on our natural world, because it's the only place we have to all call home.
If you're going to get somebody to care about what you need in terms of funding, resources, legislative support to preserve the animals that live in our runoff, then you've got to engage the heart.
There we go, perfect!
True conservation really is a commitment of time and heart and energy, and SeaWorld is committed to being there and responding to those animals anytime, any place. There are people here at SeaWorld who will not be home for Christmas because they're out rescuing a manatee. That is the reality of conservation.
The science of killer whales is only half told by researching whales that are in the wild.
There's an awful lot of things that we can learn by being able to watch the animal that you can't out in the ocean. You can't get close enough to them, you can't stay with them, you can't follow them from years to years.
We have learned so much about our killer whales. We know about how old the calves are when they start to learn independence. We know about social status with each animal and social structure and how that changes. We also have the largest database of information about calves and how they relate with their mother, when they nurse, when they stop nursing. All that we've learned from having these family groups together.
The whales that are housed here provide that unique opportunity to do controlled science, allowing researchers to come in and do novel research, get detailed science done with the whales that live here, and then publish that science.
Killer whales have different calls that are characteristic of particular social groups, but nobody really knows the answer to how do they learn them, from who do they take their examples. Once they get to be adults, do they change? You know, all that kind of thing is something that's very difficult to find out if you can't follow the animal over a long period of time.
Uterus right in there.
The work we're doing here at SeaWorld has been and is essential to understanding and protecting the killer whales in the wild.
I've worked with SeaWorld for 26 years, and I've spent that entire time caring for these animals, protecting these animals.
My focus, my job was to create the highest level of care for the killer whales possible.
The truth is that we couldn't love these animals more. Here we go. Hold on, try again. That one's for you. Every single day, we are so committed to their health and well-being and making sure that they're stimulated and just really making a connection with them.
Animal care and welfare. That's all we do all day, every day as part of our careers. We continually invest in our own development and in our collective development and expertise around animal care. The veterinarians go to professional veterinary meetings focused on aquatic animal health and zoo animal health. The trainers go to professional training meetings, animal behavior meetings. We're constantly advancing the level of care that we provide to do better, to take it to the next level.
I studied biology and psychology. I specialized in behavior analysis. I spent 4 years getting my degree, and then I spent several other years getting experience at other facilities before I even came to SeaWorld. I spent 11 years learning operant conditioning and different techniques, working with the pilot whales and the dolphins. Also, I have a degree in animal science. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I have a master's degree in human behavior, and I'm currently working on my doctorate degree, all supported by SeaWorld. So they're dedicated to me so that I can become the best person I can be to not only train the trainers, but also take care of these animals.
We're here because we love what we do, we love the animals that we're working with, and we'll spend the rest of our lives and careers doing it.
I was angry when I saw Blackfish.
I was angry watching Blackfish.
An emotion of anger.
It's kind of shocking to me, I have to tell you.
Blackfish doesn't make me emotional. Because I just know it's not true.
I didn't know it was going to happen, so I wasn't expecting it. And one day they say, okay, Sam, you're ready to go.
Come on, you got it.
You're going to stand on the whale. You're going to dive off the whale. The whale's going to swim under you and pick you up again. And then you're going to do a perimeter ride around the pool.
Good. Keep moving. Right into the slide out.
They just told me to go do it, and I did it. Wow, I just rode a killer whale.
In the movie that you see with the woman swimming with the killer whale, that was me. That wasn't her. That was 2 years of my career leading up to that point that they twisted and took from me.
They did a really good job of doctoring the footage to sell their agenda.
You're lying about how we care about these animals. You're lying about the benefits of having these animals in a zoo and aquarium.
I just
do not recognize the world that they portray in the movie. I don't see that. The interview, for my part, there were 3 hours of interview footage, and almost everything with any particular weight to it that I said was not included in the film. What really upset me was this idea that SeaWorld's deceived its trainers and the public, because that couldn't be further from the truth. That is completely foreign to me. Nobody cares about those animals more than the people that are boots on the ground there with them. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
The people who made this movie are a part of a movement, a very small percentage of people who feel like marine mammals or any type of animal shouldn't be in a zoological setting. And I adamantly disagree with that.
What has really personally affected me about Blackfish is all the kids that watch this movie, or their parents watch this movie, and that's all they know, and that's all they see about SeaWorld. And now these kids don't even get the opportunity to understand why it's important that we have these animals and what these animals in this park can do to inspire these kids, like myself, to someday, because I was that kid, to grow up and help with conservation efforts and rescue efforts.
There's no evil empire. I am not an evil Darth Vader minion, you know. I have a heart too, and I would not have worked the career that I did and come to work every day that I did if I felt that these animals were ever treated like anything other than royalty.
Blackfish really hit me because I believe wholeheartedly in what I do. I believe that what I do makes a difference in the animals' lives and in people's lives. The one thing that I want people to know after watching the movie is that it's not true.
There's a picture on my wall of me when I was a little girl. It's one of my favorite pictures because it's of me playing with little toy animals in the dirt. And every time I look at that picture, it just reminds me my entire life I have been passionate about caring for animals.
I became a marine biologist and a veterinarian because when I was a teenager, I went to SeaWorld, and the experience of being close to these animals inspired me to want to dedicate my life towards understanding and helping preserve these wonderful creatures.
The connection that people get from coming to SeaWorld and seeing these animals up close is an experience you can't get from opening up a book. You won't have when you just turn on the TV. Tell me, can you hear them breathe? Can you look them in the eye? Can you feel their heartbeat? These are experiences that you can only get at SeaWorld.
Without having these places where people can connect with nature, we're going to lose something, and we're going to lose a lot of species and a lot of habitat. We have children, entire generations that grow up without really connecting with nature. And when that happens, nature is the big loser.
This is going to be the place where people came and learned about the ocean. It inspires people to not only learn about the animals, but hopefully make a difference.
My hope for people when they leave SeaWorld is that they care even more about these amazing killer whales than they did when they first came. That these magnificent creatures touch them the way that they've inspired and touched us.